I am super excited about bringing on my next guest because we go from soup to nuts in this place. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. My next guest is Joe Sharpe. He's the owner of SHARPE HAUS. And let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do. I'm not going to tell them what you do because I think they need to hear it. Get right up on that mic. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for having us on the show. I appreciate it. We do a hand knife sharpen service here in the Valley.
Right. Now, let me tell you, you are located in Scottsdale at the northwest corner of Shea and Scottsdale Boulevard. And before you came on, I asked you a question. And I said, do you do free consultations? And you said, well, that's a loaded question, Carol. And you do something for people. So not only do you sharpen knives, I want you to tell them what you do and how you do that.
Right, so when people come into our shop, we have the largest selection of premium knives in the Valley. But one of the things we do is sort of consultative here is we'll have you come in and we'll make sure that we're sizing you properly for the knife.
Did you know that you needed to have your hand size for your knife? I never knew that before.
Yeah, there's every knife is different, every hand is different. Some people like a heavier knife, some people like a lighter knife, some people like a rounder handle, some people like that big blocky handle. There's just so many variables that go into it. We want to make sure when you come in that you're buying the right knife for you and the right knife for the purpose that you're using it.
That's correct. Now I want you to tell them a little bit about your magazines that you brought in today and how you were featured in them.
Oh, got you. So we were contacted by the Phoenix New Times a couple of months ago, and they had just heard about our service, and they asked if they can come in and write about us. And then after we were released in that article, then they came back and said, hey, we want to feature you in our Eat Around Town magazine as well. So then they put us a spot feature in their Eat Around Town magazine in Scottsdale.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
That's awesome. Now I want to get out this first question because I love it. Okay. The first question he had me asking is, are my knives, the ones that are old and cheap, are they still worth sharpening?
That's a great question. So my answer to that is, are you using it? If you're using it, it deserves to be performing at its best. So, when you bring in a knife to be sharpened, we don't look down on you. We don't say, oh, this is a cheap knife. We just say, hey, we'll make this perform at its best, and you're going to like the way it performs better. Now, some people will come in and they'll want to upgrade their knives after seeing a nicer knife, or we custom fit them and they realize, hey, you know what, I really didn't like this knife, but I found it on sale, so I bought it, and they might upgrade to something else, but that's not really our goal objective. If you're using the knife, it deserves to be performing at its best.
And today, everybody likes to cook now, right? I'm just using it for that purpose. But I just want to say that more and more people probably are looking for better knives as well, because it wasn't old days, a ginchu, whatever those were called. I can't even remember right now.
Right.
I'm sure you remember what I'm talking about. But, there's a big difference in having good knives and the right knife for each thing that you're cutting.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I want you to talk a little bit about, what that means and how the kind of knives that you carry.
Right. So we carry all styles and every different. We service a lot of professional chefs around the Valley. So in fact, we're the most trusted company for chefs in the Valley to sharpen their knives. But you want to start off with a good chef knife. That is your overall basic. You can use it for everything. It's your number one utility in the kitchen. And then you want to kind of look at something, if you're doing a lot of breads or you're doing a lot of citrus and fruits, you're going to want to add on a serrated knife. If you're trimming a lot of meats, you're breaking your own chicken down, you're breaking your own steaks down, you're going to want a boning or a scimitar. Mm-hmm. So we carry all the knives under the sun. You can come into our store and you can try out pretty much any type of knife.
Now, they're located in Scottsdale on the northwest corner of Shea and Scottsdale Boulevard. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. On Saturdays, 9 to 3. They're closed on Sunday. And you can check them out on their website, which is The Sharpe Haus is spelled H-A-U-S. So The Sharpe Haus. It's 480-590-5537. So let's talk about knives and them being sharp and dangerous.
Yeah, so, you know, we were talking about this during the break of the last performance in Lynette. And, you know, we brought up having my knife sharp, is that too dangerous? Or is it dangerous to have a sharp knife? The answer is no, it's actually dangerous to have a dull knife. You're gonna start putting more pressure on your food. That's gonna tend to slip, and then you're gonna damage yourself, or you're gonna cut yourself severely. When you have a sharp knife, the sharp knife will actually do the work for you. So it'll cut through the food, and it'll do all the work. You won't have to put very much pressure on it at all. So that's...
And you're gonna love it.
Right, exactly. And, you know, we had customers come in before, and they were talking about how, you know, they had their knife sharpened, and then they come back to bring some more, and they tell us, hey, I cut myself on the last time. We always give that warning, hey, people get used to having that dull knife, so when you first use a knife after it's been sharpened, you do want to go a little bit slower until you get used to that sharpness.
Sure, I can understand that. Now, let's say somebody is come to you, they brought their knives to you and you're sharpening, and they want them fast. I mean, how long does it take for them to come back?
Oh, it's a great question. So we have the fastest turnaround time here in the Valley. When you get your knife and bring it into us, we are next business day of ready.
That's awesome.
Right. I think our most of our competitors around town, it's a 1 to 2 week turnaround time.
So you're right away. And I do want to ask you how you go about doing the grinding.
Right. So we don't actually grind knives.
What do you do?
So we have a custom system that was developed in San Francisco. That's where I did my training for knife sharpening. We don't use any harsh abrasives. We don't use any sort of hollow grinding equipment. We don't use any of that stuff. Every knife that comes into us is sharpened by hand. We take off the least amount of metal to get your knife performing well. We'll restore and reface your knife to original manufacturer specifications.
Wow, that sounds cool. I will tell you, so many people, if you're interested in something like this and you use your knives, if you're a chef or just, you know, a person at home that loves to cook, anybody that has tried a really good knife, you'll see the difference immediately. And when it's sharp, not only do you need a Band-Aid, but it works perfectly.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And your food tastes better when you cut it with a sharp knife.
Absolutely.
When you cut lettuce, it doesn't brown quickly. Well, your veggies and everything stay fresher longer.
And how about that steak when you cut into it and it just cuts like butter?
Right. Yeah, and you know, when you that's a big thing. When you cut into it after having your steak knife sharpened, you're going to see that there's actually less juice on your plate when you're done, because that juice isn't being forced out when you're pressing down into the steak. So your bites are actually going to be more flavorful when you're cutting it with a sharper knife.
Where else but on Networking Arizona would you hear something like this? And I think that's what I love about the show. If you would like to get your knives sharpened, or maybe you need, because you sell as well.
Correct.
Right? You might need a new set of knives. You could check them out on their website. It's The Sharpe, and that house is HAUS.com. Their phone number is 480-590-5537. They're located in Scottsdale at the northwest corner of Shea and Scottsdale Boulevard. Just really quickly, how did you get into this?
So my wife and I, we lived in North Carolina at the time. We were business brokers, and I did mergers and acquisitions. I was contacted by a gentleman who owned a knife sharpening business, asking me to sell it for him. My wife and I looked into it, and we said, hey, you know, this is something that I really think we could get behind. So her and I ended up purchasing that business from the gentleman.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I love what you do, because a lot of people, you know, when you hate a knife and it doesn't cut, or it doesn't cut well, and it's like, you know, you have to get it sharpened, and you just never get around to it, right?
Right.
Well, get around to it, folks, and you can go into their store, which is located in Scottsdale on the northwest corner of Shea and Scottsdale Boulevard. They are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturdays from 9 to 3. They're closed on Sundays. You can call them direct at 480-590-5537. What would be your final words for everybody out there?
Well, our final words is we would love for anybody listening, to try our knife sharpening. So as part of coming on the show today, we are giving away, you bring in 5 knives, we'll sharpen your first one for free. we want you to come in and try our service.
Well, there you go. So they're gonna do that special for you. If you bring in 5 of your knives, they're gonna do the 6th one for free.
No, the 5th one's free.
The 5th free.
If you bring in at
the-
least 5 knives, you get 1 sharpened for free.
There you go. Bring in 5, you get 1 for free. The number to call them direct is 480-590-5537. Check them out on their website, which is the Sharpen House is spelled HAUS.com.